Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. It's a Monday. I am doing a video today and it's a very exciting video because it's my Notion 2.0 setup video. It's sort of like my third iteration of my setup, and I like to do these setup videos because they actually tend to help, and I think this might be the biggest adaptation of that. So I think you'll enjoy today's video. If you're a Notion newbie or a Notion expert, then this might be a great starting point for you. Now, before we dive in, I just wanted to mention this week we have a sponsor who's coming in and sponsoring the whole week, which is absolutely amazing. Really does help support and keep the channel going. So the sponsor this week is Setapp. Setapp is the first ever subscription service for Mac applications, giving you access to hundreds of Mac apps inside of one suite at a set monthly rate. It's a really amazing application. I've got it downloaded myself. I've talked about it a few times here on the channel before. They are also the podcast sponsors for Series 2. They've been amazing in terms of supporting us guys as the Keep Productive community, which is amazing. So I really hope that you enjoy this one. I've included a full review of Setapp in the description below in case you want to go and check out all about it. It's me talking for about 10 minutes on the resource and how I use it on a daily basis. So I really hope you enjoy this one, guys. Let me know in the comments below whether you're using Setapp, but wait till the end of the video because I'm going to be doing, well, me and Setapp are going to be doing a 5 subscription 3-month giveaway. So do wait till the end of the video, or if you're super eager, you can skip forward. There's no rule on that. But guys, I hope you enjoy this one and I'll see you at the end of the video. So here we are with my Notion setup, and as I mentioned today, what I want to do is go over some of the things that have changed and adapted from my last version, as well as sort of giving you an outline of what has worked for me in Notion. So hopefully this video will give you some good insights. Now, as you can see here, this is Notion 2.0. I updated on my Mac, my iPhone, and any other places I've got Notion, but they're mainly the places I've got Notion. And it's really a nice addition. I think the 2.0, as I mentioned in the past, has been something that has dramatically improved my experience in Notion, but it's something that I am yet to fully encompass in this setup. So maybe in a couple of months time, 3 or 4 or 5 months time, when we come to the next one, you might see a few more changes. So what I want to do today is take you firstly about the sort of homepage / dashboard, because I think that's like the landing page to most people's Notion experiences. And then what I want to do is take you through some of the more workflow-based changes that I've had. You can skip forward, as I mentioned, in the timestamps below. So if you want to do so, if you're looking at a specific way that I do something, you can do so. So here we are on my sort of dashboard. You can see that I've changed this sort of background to a rocket going up. I've kept pretty much the same emoji here. And then I've called it My Workspace. I think over time it's sort of become a bit more of that. I didn't really call it that officially before, but now having it titled My Workspace makes it a really nice, homey sort of place. Especially the fact that I can modify that title as well. Now we've put this sort of quote just below it. I believe it's a quote. It's just saying home of Francesco's work. And I think that's just a nice addition, just a nice describer of what it is. Now I have these 2 core elements, and these are probably the most I access at any given time. So I've got the next 5 years, which is just a list of long-term based projects. So I've talked about my 3-month roadmap a little bit in the past. I probably need to do a separate feature on this. I probably won't show you a great deal of it today, more the sort of structural layout of it. And I also have this 1-year milestones, which I'm actually yet to set up. But this essentially is my area for just long-term planning, like what's my future going to hold for me, and how can I do the best I possibly can, in essence. And I've split that off and I've subheaded with a divider, and I've also made it just, I guess, slightly sizable to this current projects. Current projects is essentially anything I'm working on that is sort of locally based, I guess, in the next 3 to 6 months. From here, I've got weekly focus, which is like a few projects that I'm really focusing on in a week. Almost trying to theme my days a bit more, just in an effort to try and get things done as best I can. Client overview, which I use just like ongoing. It's a place where I just like pop up the latest clients that I have or like need to change or develop. And I put in any like leads and prospects. So essentially it acts as like sort of like Trello did in the past, but more a bit like Pipedrive to some extent. Personal branding, which I use to almost plan some of my elements, something I want to show you a bit about. Fitness plan is some of the workouts that I do. I can show you some of them. Again, I haven't been keeping this as updated as I want, and I'll explain why. And finance goals as well. Now, you're probably wondering, Francesco, you had this bit before, but what the hecky deck is this? Well, let me explain. I decided to put a profile photo of myself here. I used Canva to round off the edges, but the idea behind this is it's almost like a passport, I guess, or I don't know how to best describe it, like a planner. I don't know, like when I was in school, we used to have these planners that had like not profile photo, like just like a passport photo of us, and then we had like the contents page. Maybe this is me, I don't know, maybe it's just a weird like thing that I have, but I sort of like that. I like that it's sort of like a bit of personality to some extent. This is my workspace. It's almost like having, I think it's because I don't have a profile photo up here, or somewhere around here, like they haven't added that nodule in. But actually having that has just made it feel like a bit more personal, a bit more like I've made a base now. And when I'm coming up to a year of using Notion, 3 months like sort of temporary and then 9 months fully. And I think it's nice to have that. So all I did for that was just insert an image inline, and then I just sort of brought it over to this side. Now, just before we end this feature, a bit later, I will actually show you what my mobile device looks like with Notion, mainly because I think people are struggling to understand how does this look on mobile and the struggles because of the way that it formats. Now you can see here, I've also put some of my brief targets out in the open, which actually is nice. Again, it's another edition. So as you can see here, I've got launch, Evernote, SKILLSHARE. Some of these have changed. Release 3 articles on kp.com. That's keepproductive.com. Launch 4 stickers, record 2 series 2, share 20 YouTube videos. So I've actually added them as checklists. I've added them as bullet points, not check boxes. So that's quite a nice addition. I also have something else that I'm trialing. Actually, I'm not trialing it. I'm going to be doing it this week, Monday 23rd. I've actually started doing a Learn Week challenge. It's not really a challenge because I feel like challenge has some timings associated to it. But this is basically, what am I going to be learning specifically in that week? I feel like sometimes with the area of my interest, I like to try and go outside of it best I can, just because like it helps all the cogs work in your brain. So this week I am learning a bit of basic Danish. Next week I'm learning a bit of basic HTML and CSS, although I know a little bit. The week after that I'm learning F1 history, just 10 years in the early days, sort of going through the old files. And these really aren't related to some of the stuff, but and then intermediate yoga. I feel like I'm already a beginner. So you can see then I sort of use this as like a pin board to have those ones there. And I feel like this is a nice personal addition to my Notion. Maybe, I don't know, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments of that. And then just below this, I'm actually taking a couple of articles from a different few websites that I want to read, and using these to add to the things to read. Now, all you have to do to that, I believe these are called, so if you just slash, I believe these are called link to page. Oh no, it's not link to page. My bad. It's like a website, web bookmark, and it creates a visual bookmark for you. And I've got 4 articles I need to read here. But it's nice because I can land on here and go, okay, everything looks good, I think. Things to read. Okay, let's get started and let's start reading this article. And these are ones that I just want to read in my spare time. So this is only a trial extension of the dashboard, but again, something that I'm actually finding quite helpful. So I'm adding a few more every day. and maybe that will get a little bit longer. So let's dive a little bit into the current project. So I think that's a nice area to get started with. I'll show you the week focus. The thing that I really was keen on showing you today is that I'm partway still continually developing my Notion. I would say I only spend between 5 and 10 minutes a month, I know it sounds a large amount, to develop my Notion, or I will fix items on the go. So for example, you're seeing on this left hand side, you're probably wondering, what is Grand 5-Year Vision? What is Evernote Premium? What is Camp Project? What is Sales? Like, these are all projects that I haven't actually organized yet, so I can move them up into my workspace area, and actually just it's just taking me time to move stuff. So the thing that I would recommend, and this is just from me, try not to rush your Notion setup. Take time. I explained the idea of getting a bit of paper the other day and actually sitting down and converting it over to your Notion. That's every little element that you design necessarily that you want in there. But don't worry too much. It will take time, and it will take a good thing takes time. So here we are, weekly focus. This is one from last week. I haven't actually gone around to plotting out my week, but all I do if I wanted to is just copy and delete. It's a really simple structure, but what it helps me do is theme my day with like 3 core items that I'm going to do in terms of like real importance. And then I just have a general concept of what that is. Of course, I have obviously my to-do list and things like that, and that helps me to plan actionably. But in terms of like what actually I need and really want to get done in that week, this is a nice overview for me. So as you can see here, maybe I'll go through a few things. Monday is, last week was launch the TTU podcast, collabs and YouTube growth. I need to do that. This week next day was launch 4 stickers, work on some of the features here, boxing, do 2 reviews, focus on referrals, and record 6 videos. So I was actually trying to theme the days. I do generally have a good theme, but this actually helped me to plot things out. So that's weekly focus. I won't show you client overview. It's really just a nerdy overview of all of the client stuff, but I will show you personal branding. I've shown you this before, but this is slowly developing. I obviously have 2 sections, keep productive and tools I use. So you might have seen the sort of setup here, but I'm starting to use these sort of mini areas to focus on planning, using tables, for example. Like I'm working on an Instagram schedule because I'm like, I need to make better content for Instagram. So here we go. I actually have content there, title, date, and I'll put the file there. And I'll slowly grow that out over time. So it's something that, it constantly gets added to over time. And I think that this sort of layout is quite nice. And I think I'm going to need to grow this one out. It's almost not taking over Evernote. It's not taking over Evernote because these are planning-based items versus static-based items, I'd say. The only static-based stuff I've got here is the Evernote guidebook, which I actually needed to create on here because I wanted to keep away from Evernote when I was filming it, because I wanted to have like this sort of differentiation of the features. So that's the only reason I had that there. I should really pop that there. But actually that was sort of structurally an area where I could go in and go out of. So actually that's number 7 is there. So I can actually bring that one down. So there we go, there's a fix. But it actually gets rid of one thing there. So you can see here that personal branding is almost like a planning state, an area. Fitness plan is something that I added pretty recently. These are my sort of goals for my fitness. They're very general though. So I've been keeping up the boxing 3 times a week and running 2 times a week. I need to do a log assessment. I need to look at my weight as well, and things like that. I'm not very good at fitness, so if you're wondering, then this might look really dead simple to you. So these are the goals over the next 3 months. I tend to like planning in 3 months blocks because things do change for me in terms of, because I work in quite like a finger to the pulse industry, I guess. And then I've got login assessments as I go across here. And I was starting out this workbook log as well. But this is the thing though. When I was doing it, it was mainly on desktop, but I wasn't really viewing the mobile application. So that's something I really need to do and get into better practice with if I'm going to keep my fitness log going like I need to really bad, then that's it. But there's been a big period of time which I've been out of communication, so I'm getting back into a routine now. So that was that was the current project side of stuff. Now you're probably wondering, in terms of the 3-month roadmap, what is there else? So I'm going to go into the 3-month roadmap. Naturally, it's going to be blurred out, but I'm going to try and keep the core elements of this. So I've created 2 core targets. The core targets at the top are like 4 or 5 main goals for the month, and then below are targets that are more definable in terms of their number. So the top ones are really just, like for example, launch Things 3 and Notion Skillshare. And the bottom ones are like hit 30,000 YouTube subscribers. So these are designed to try and help me focus and keep on there. And then just below, I have a couple of 2018 milestones, including like my wedding, going on holiday, visits to zoos, big items like that. And then this is my 1-year milestones. I'm yet to set this one up. It will take me some time, I know that. But just a few other notes as well. As I was saying, I really don't think you should spend much time on this at all. It's really about the doing, and I spend a lot more time doing than I do actually making it look pretty. Once you know a software, and once you have something like this set up, you can pretty much do it as you go. But most of it is really easy to do, especially in Notion. Like even the micro things they do. So for example, you're like, I don't like this finance goals icon. You don't necessarily have to go in there, find an icon, you can just click change icon and search for the one that you do. So there are little things that you can do across your Notion account that just make things easier. Now, the one final thing I want to end with is, of course, I'll be doing another Notion overview in like 3 or 4 months. But the thing that I am actually probably going to be doing is extending this with a few of the metrical based stuff. So here, I was quite inspired by Kevin Rose, who does more of his structural stuff. So like here you can see his health dashboard. I want to start doing this. I want to start quantifying a few things in my routine just so that I have a bit more accountability and a bit more structure. So I'm looking to extend this down here. It's almost like real estate. Like down here, we're going to build 5 properties. Well, I'm actually going to be building a few graphs. And as time goes on, I think that Notion will look to add a few more integrations. They could be integrated with Fitbit, it can be integrated with other health applications or even productivity applications to get you your statistics. So I'm actually looking to add some statistics here. The reason why I'm putting them down here at the moment, because I don't think they are vital to accessing the most important parts in terms of planning, but they're useful for when I scroll down. So that is something you'll probably see in a few weeks or months, depending on how I want to do this. But as I said, don't really spend a hideous amount of time plotting and creating. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by here on today's video. I just want to thank the sponsor Setapp for featuring here on the channel this week. It's been great to have them as a sponsor, and if you're not checking out Tools They Use podcast, it'd be great to have you there too. We do like almost 2 weekly now. One every 1 week, bi-weekly, a bi-weekly podcast all about apps and tools and interviewing other people about what apps and tools they use across lots of different industries. So hopefully it'll provide some value. Let me know in the comments how you're setting up your Notion. If you have any tips for me, I'm really open and pretty happy to take your recommendations. So do let me know. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great week. Keep productive, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Cheers. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that Notion setup. Again, I try to keep things fairly minimal to some extent, and it's ever growing. Like my Notion, when I started, it's almost been a year since I had my Notion account start. So it's evolved slowly. Like I haven't gone and spent a day making it. I've more taken 5 minutes every month to actually develop the actual structure, because I don't think a structure is that important in terms of visually beautiful. Obviously it makes it nicer when you come back to it, but again, it just takes time. Don't rush anything. So I mentioned the Setapp sponsorship at the start. The Setapp obviously sponsoring this feature. They're a service. You can check out their link in the description below, as well as a full review on them. But they've been awesome, and they're doing a 5-code giveaway for 3 months access to Setapp, which is amazing. So you can win simply by commenting, liking this video, and also sharing it gives you a bonus one. So all you need to do is comment and like, really, but if you want an extra bonus point, you can share this video on social media. Just tag me, Francesco D_ALES, or at Setapp as well. So just make sure one of us is tagged. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed this feature. Let me know in the comments how you're using Notion and that general setup. I'd love to hear. But it's been a pleasure talking to you guys today. Anyway, I probably should go. Thanks guys very much. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Make sure to have a great week, keep productive, and I'll see you guys very soon. Cheers.